He plans on retiring, stepping down. That's what people say. His seat is up in 2022. Somebody actually mentioned that he might reconsider, but who knows? That should be interesting too. But then certain other people have come out the woodworks. Mainly one of Matt's favorite people in the world, former Missouri Governor Greitens.
That ain't the woodworks. He climbed out the coffin. His candidacy looks like the 3-minute mark of the Thriller video.
The 3-minute mark of the Yeah, man. Yeah. It's gonna be interesting to say the least, because what we actually do see, and it's not just in Missouri, but I think this is going to be one of the test grounds for this. How much do the Trumpian candidates still have? Greitens was somebody who rocked with Trump, flat out, plain and simple. So was
his whole platform was based on that approach to politics.
His whole entire approach, right? So was U.S. Senator Josh Hawley's. Okay, so will Trumpism, Republicanism, like solid being a Republican, will that prevail? Are people sick and tired of it, or do people miss it? That's gonna be the question. I think it's gonna be one test to see, because we still see how it's so amazing how there are some disappointing as well. Like when I think of people like Senator Lindsey Graham, who was completely like, "Oh, January 6th was terrible. It was bad. Shame on Trump. Terrible, bad. I can't support him. I don't like him," and blah blah blah, all that crap. And then now he's like, Trump ain't that bad no more. We can't win without him. We can't win without Trump. Like, he did a complete 180 on what happened on January 6th and his view of Trump. And somehow Trump still got juice. I mean, he like Frank White, who went to jail, right? And still got he still got juice outside. Like, he's still making moves. Like, he's still
maybe he'll actually become Frank White before we all said and done.
Right. I mean, he really will be the king of New York then, right? So we shall see. We shall see.
That's what he's always wanted, right?
Yeah, like his daddy, He always want to be like his daddy, stunning like his daddy, So we shall see. And I think, and that's my thing. I actually do. I would like.
I just got to notice too that that Mark McCluskey, I'm sorry, is entering the Senate race as well.
Oh, you want to share who, for those who may not know?
I'm sorry. Him personally. So this is
they probably used him. They probably portrayed him on Halloween, perhaps.
I'm sure you know him from the meme, but this is the attorney that was waving the gun at the protesters and whatnot. He's now running for Senate too, so now we've got the corpse of Eric Greitens, we've got Mark McCluskey, we've got potentially the specter of Roy Blunt sticking around, and who else knows what's going to happen out in the podunks who are going to step up and say that they need to be part of it too. And this is before we get to Kansas City and say, what's going on out on the west side of the state? Yeah,
before we get to Kansas City
or Springfield,
Springfield, Columbia, the upper part of Missouri. That people who can see Iowa from their front door type people. Like, we have no idea what's going to happen, man. I mean, it's gonna be interesting. I think this could be also if the grassroots organizations across the state of Missouri actually work together and figure out what are people really hurting about. What can they really win? So I think there will be, and actually my organization and I have been doing work on dealing with Medicaid. Like, talk about this just real quick, because over 53% of Missouri voters said, yes, we want to expand Medicaid in November. Over 53%. Or was that August? I can't even remember anymore, right? It's been that long. And then the Missouri House of Representatives said, oh, we know the voters voted yes on this, but we don't like it, and we don't believe rural Missouri actually voted on this. Although 1 out of 3 rural Missourians actually said yes, but we're not going to pass. We're not going to provide the funding for Medicaid to be expanded. So then it goes over to the Missouri Senate. The Missouri Senate was like, oh, is the ball in our court? Nope, we don't want it. Here, Governor. We also are not going to provide funding, or something that the Missouri voters voted yes on.
Right.
So then the U.S. the Missouri governor Parsons is saying that, hey, you know, if the legislators don't want to fund for it, I'm not going to sign for it, which is actually against the law, which is actually against the Missouri Constitution.
Well, I don't think that he A, knows anything about that, or B, could care less about it.
Can care less.
I get really confused about exactly what Mike Parsons, not his purpose, because I know how I feel about that. I get really confused about exactly what his agenda is.
Yeah.
Protecting police officers?
So you would think it would be protecting police officers, right? But the Senate also just passed a bill that Parsons could sign or veto, possibly a law that says local law enforcement does not have to follow the U.S. federal laws around guns.
Yeah.
So
Missouri's seeming more and more like a place that's going to stay pretty regularly in front of the Supreme Court.
Missouri is becoming not just that we know. They used to say, you know, what's the Midwest, right? I feel like Missouri's becoming the middle finger to like laws. Like what? That's a law, a federal law. Middle finger to that. Like It's just a certain boldness and audacity. I don't know where they get this from. I don't know how they become this type of mindset. I really don't.
I feel very strongly that there's two Americas right now in every possible way. It might actually honestly be closer to 4 or 5 Americas right now.
Yeah.
But in Missouri, there is very clearly one version of it and then a completely different version of it, which is sad because it's why, you know, I think people talk about, let's go back to the thing we said about we need a Stacey Abrams and stuff like that. When these Senate seats come up, it's going to have absolutely nothing to do with the things that we're talking about and like the concerns we have. There is no chance that I see, and I would love to be wrong about this, I don't see any way that there's a Democratic or a progressive or a liberal, however you want to categorize it, an opposition to the GOP that's going to get over and have any chance at that seat.
No. I as of right now, I don't see it. I don't see anyone that is countering any of the Republican talking points. Like abortion is bad, guns are great, and government is bad, and Democrats are government, so they bad too. Like I don't see nobody saying anything that resonates with enough people. For people to literally say, like socialism is bad, socialism is terrible, socialism is horrible. Oh, where's our Medicaid at? Or not Medicaid, our Medicare. Like I'm a senior now. Where's my Medicare? Like the fact that we have a National Guard, we have a Missouri National Guard. Like well, it should not be utilized like as a private army, but but like that's part of social, like that's part of being social, having social nets, social safety nets, having a Missouri National Guard. I went ahead and got the vaccine. Didn't really want to, but I got it anyway. And I got it at the Delwood Recreational Center. You know who gave me my shot, Matt? Missouri National Guard.
I think they've administered more shots than anybody in the state of Missouri now at this point.
Exactly. Social services. Like, so I think it's going to take, I don't know what type of background. I don't know what type of connections. That's the thing, man. I don't see anyone that's developing connections, and that's the only thing that I wish. Like I wish a lot of things could have been different. I wish Obama, when he lost Missouri by less than 4,000 votes, really would have continued to develop and craft organizations here throughout the rural areas. And I wish the DNC didn't just give up on Missouri, because I think this is where we at. Like, so it's gonna take. So with that being said, I do have a nice amount of faith. In like, for example, Chairman Mike Butler, who does have a good understanding of how to connect the people across different areas. The executive of the Democratic Party, Randy Dunn, actually had a conversation with him, and he has an amazing resume, as well as previous legislation experience. So we definitely, would love to have him on. But he also understands that we got to be more, like, he understands that the Democratic Party has to be more than just the name Democrat.
Yes, that's true. And that now that would be a whole nother hour for us to go down that path, because we certainly see, we both believe in that and believe in it in different ways too. So I think that maybe we bookmark that for next time, because I think that it might be time for that conversation to happen. And I think that a conversation like that happening does require a Mike Butler or, someone else who's plugged in there. Because here's the thing. I would love for Mike to come on and tell me why I'm wrong about believing that about the Senate seat. I don't know